Good morning. This morning we're looking again in our Advent devotions, and today's passage is Luke chapter 1, verses 26 to 38. I'd suggest you read that before you watch the rest of this. It's an amazing passage. You can imagine, can't you, Mary? She's a teenage girl. She would have had her life planned out. She is madly in love. She's going to marry Joseph. She's going to have his children, and they're going to live a respectable, quiet life together. And then suddenly, the angel Gabriel shows up with a message from God and turns her life upside down. And this morning, I want you to remember two things and chew on these two things today. Firstly, that Mary is favored by God and you are too. She was unique, wasn't she, in human history? She's the only person who was the mother of the Lord Jesus Christ. God dwelled inside her body in human form. And that's not to say, of course, that she is a god and that she should be worshipped. Mary was just like you and I. She sinned. She was dead in her sins, and unless God did something about it, she had no hope. But God says here that she is favoured. And that literally means that He gave her His grace. He's given her His undeserved, unmerited love. You see, the greatest blessing, the greatest favour that Mary received wasn't to be the mother of God the Son, but rather that her Son saved her from her sins so that she could be brought close to God. And if you're a Christian here watching this morning, that is true of you too. God has given you grace. He has favoured you. You don't deserve it. Just like Mary, you don't deserve it, but you stand alongside her as one who has been favoured by God. And you too have been saved, haven't you, through her Son, the Lord Jesus Christ. Through His death and His resurrection, even though you didn't deserve it. He came into this world to save Mary, and He came into this world to save you. The second thing I'd like you to chew on today is Mary's response. It's incredible. She responded in faith, and will you do that too? Mary believes despite the cost to her. This news could have cost her fiancé. It almost certainly cost her her reputation. There must have been people who thought that the virgin birth was just a cover-up for a pregnancy that was outside of marriage. But she believes in faith. And will you do that this morning? If you've never put your faith in the Lord Jesus, why don't you do that today and put your faith in Him? Don't worry about the cost to you. It's the best decision you could ever make. Put your faith in Him. And if you're a Christian here this morning, are you willing to step out in faith in the same way that she did? Are you willing to do what God has called you and live by faith? If you truly believe that God favours you, then what reason do you have not to do likewise?